Tell me about SBET, Dad.
Yeah, I don't think I heard everybody's SBET takes last week. I assume Eric said it was fucking stupid.
Well, we're just trying to get our bearings on like what the hell this is, and is it the same, and is it wildly different? And Eric was just saying he just noticed that it's such a small market cap that there's no options, and
yeah, no options.
But I think you said basically the volatility is the feature.
Yeah. Well, one thing I mentioned was that when you're looking at a product like this, you're comparing against like buying it yourself. And like, why would you pay a premium for something when you can just buy the underlying yourself? And, as far as I can tell, the reason why you would do it, not from a fundamental perspective, is because the price appreciates much faster buying this other version, which happened with MSTR. And I supposed that it could happen again with SBET.
We did miss one big component that Steven touched on his newsletter. By the way, epic newsletter write-up and your Magic Lines Premium.
Thank you.
Yeah, highly recommend you check it out. Steven's on quite the heater. But we forgot to mention the yield. So obviously we think this company will buy ETH and then they're probably going to do something with it, right? They're probably going to stake it on chain, get anywhere from like, I don't know, 4 or 5%.
Yeah.
I don't know how big of a deal that's going to be, but it's an additional feature.
It's an additional feature. You'd get that feature if you held the underlying too and you did that step yourself.
Yeah.
But
but TradFi can't get that feature.
Right.
It can called treasuries.
Well, no, you can't get the underlying move of Ethereum plus the yield. But I think like the way that I actually think about it is like you pay a premium and that premium should be rationalized or justified by the fact that the treasury company is going to add more of the underlying to their treasury such that like you are actually paying a discount over time because they're going to add so much more ETH to their balance sheet.
I guess the part that I didn't have time to research and I guess their press release didn't really like spell out all the details was when do these new shares actually come out in the open? When do they start trading? Because like I've been trying to figure out what is the current market cap of this thing. Because if you know they're going to buy $525 million worth, you like to know what the premium is trading at now. And it seems really confusing because when I go on like Yahoo Finance and just look at the market cap, it's still tiny.
Yeah. I mean, if you value SBET on the basis of all the, like, you could probably assume they're going to buy 100,000 ETH with what they've raised. So if you value it on the basis of, they're going to buy 100,000 ETH, this is the price of ETH, and here are all the shares fully diluted. It's basically trading. I mean, it's actually trading a little under that right now, but it's basically trading at that.
But like I look at the market cap on Yahoo Finance, and probably this is not the best place to look at it. It says it's worth $41 million, the company. So that's obviously wrong.
That's not right.
I think they're just doing that on the basis, like the actual float of shares is quite low, which is why this is like
so
kind
volatile.
of a funny degen play because like the actual float relative to how many shares will be outstanding.
So the shares must be issued on like convertible debt or something because like they wouldn't be shown on Yahoo Finance or something.
No, there's just some elements of this deal where they have to do some registration process with the SEC. It's months out, and until that happens, none of these things can be like unlocked.
It was like previously like a shell corporation that had this many shares. So then when you like
pipe it in,
merge it in and stuff.
Yeah, they piped it.
Yeah, you got pipe it.
Yeah, pipe.
I guess another thing is when these shares for the investors who are putting in the $425 million, are they locked up or not necessarily? Because you could also imagine them seeing the market cap and the price and just like, I'm already up. I got in at $6. I'm up 10x. Like
they're not locked up at all because they could at least short the marketable security. So I mean,
they're not going to be able to get their hands on enough shares.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. There's good Ponzi dynamics in this.
I don't think that the float is what Yahoo Finance says it is either.
Probably not.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
So you're saying this is a low float, but the fully diluted market cap is much bigger, obviously.
Yeah, and we've seen how this plays out in other areas. People are like, no, you can't buy this. You can't buy Serum token. It's $80 billion fully diluted. And then the market was like, I don't care.
Well, here's like a more nuanced kind of approach to it is like, how about like how MSTR succeeded so well? Like, is it path dependent at all? Like, because SBET has seen the path that MSTR took, and maybe they just go right to the end, which is like convertible notes, at the money equity issuance, and maybe that sort of hamstrings them because like MSTR like grew their way into those solutions.
I mean, I don't know that the market will initially give them the ability to do all that. And SBET can do stuff that MSTR can't do, which is like interesting. Like one of the things that's interesting about SBET is that it's going to like inherently like offer like a yield, like some sort of return on assets that MSTR doesn't do, because it's going to they've already said they're going to like stake this stuff in DeFi. So there's going to be a yield there. So that's the yield is like you've got ETH and then you've got like a NAV premium on top of the ETH, presumably. And then you've also got some sort of DCF that the market has to figure out how to price in.
Have they like announced if they're going to return their like yield to the shareholders? Because that would be like really promising.
You think so?
Well, I think it would be promising in the fact that like TradFi investors can't get the ETH yield outside of SBET.
Well, they'll return it to investors in either two ways: just repurchasing more ETH.
Yeah.
They could potentially buy back shares, which they're not going to do.
Probably do. You're just ETH per share just drifts up, which is great. I mean, this thing's like better than standard ETFs in two ways. Like one, it has yield, and your ETH per share is growing. I mean, I guess there's three ways. One, it inherently just increases ETH per share because it has yield. Two, it's like actively going to grow ETH per share because it's going to like continue to issue all these like instruments to just buy more ETH.
Financial alchemy.
And then three, like an ETH ETF has like a fee, and this doesn't have any fee.
Yeah.
Right.
Good point.
So there's kind of like three interesting ways in which this is like better. And like I feel like we're on the verge of a like pretty nice like ETH renaissance / bull run, and like owning one of these stupid like low float kind of Ponzi dynamic things, especially if the market is like going to be like, oh god, it's going to be like MSTR again. I got to get ahead of this.
I bought some FOMO insurance bag. Just bought a couple hundred shares just to.
Is that back when we talked about it on the previous episode?
No. I think I'm in around $50 a share.
Okay, because after you brought it up and we talked about it, it freaking mooned.
Yeah, and I saw it and I was like, well, gonna let that go.
It was like a 2x the very next day after
it went over 100. Yeah,
it was crazy.
But you're buying more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an enormous position, but like I have like it's like a healthy, but like basically everything in my portfolio where I owned like Titcoin or something, I was just like, I'll just buy this instead. I'll just buy like a degenerate derivative of the thing that I really believe in.
Are you buying 1 unit of risk or more than 1 unit of risk?
Like how do you like sizing it? What, as though it'll go to zero?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, how are you sizing?
I mean, it's probably like 2% of my portfolio right now, like my interactive brokers account, which I think is like good. I might double it.
That's pretty small, I thought.
I mean, I own so much crypto. I own so much convexity. I own so much like leverage. It's just like for me personally, it's like, do I need to put 10% of my brokerage account in this on top of all the other stupid shit?
Yeah.
Probably not. But like if I was sitting around with like not a lot of crazy exposure already, like yeah, like if I was buying ETH, like I don't know, I might put like 30 or 40% of the ETH I was buying like into this.